तो सब बाल लीलाओं के अंदर था। लेकिन फिर भी उसमें भगवान कृष्ण का जो भाव था वो गोपियों के प्रति वो पति भाव था, और जो गोपियां हैं वो उनकी प्रेयसियां थी। भाव तो प्रेयसी का था गोपियों का, और भगवान का पति का भाव था, लेकिन सब बाल लीला के अंदर था। लेकिन चैतन्य लीला में जो भगवान ने चंचलता की है वो भी बाल लीला के अंदर है कि बालिकाओं के साथ में श्री चैतन्य चंचलता करते थे। चैतन्य भी नाम नहीं था उस समय, निमाई या विश्वम्भर, ये दो नाम थे, निमाई या विश्वम्भर। निमाई चंचलता करते थे बालिकाओं के साथ में, लेकिन इस लीला में वो भाव नहीं है, जो पति भाव नहीं था, और उन बालिकाओं का श्री निमाई के साथ में कोई पत्नी भाव नहीं था। इस लीला में क्या था कि ये जो बालिकाएं थीं ये इनके साथ में मतलब बहन का भाव रखती थी, और जो निमाई बालक था ये उनके साथ में भाई जैसा भाव रखता था। तो भाई भी जो है बहनों के साथ में कभी चंचलता करता है। तो इस प्रकार की जो चंचलता है निमाई की वो और भी अलग है। भगवान कृष्ण की जो चंचलता थी तो उसमें वो था गोपी भाव था, माधुर्य भाव था, लेकिन इसमें माधुर्य भाव नहीं। श्री चैतन्य की लीलाएं हैं तो जो करते भी हैं चंचलता तो माधुर्य भाव नहीं है इसमें। इसमें जो है एक चंचल बालक का जो है जो व्यवहार होता है उस प्रकार का व्यवहार था। और उसमें बड़ा तत्व भी उन्होंने बताया कि जो बालिकाएं थीं तो शिव की पूजा करती हैं, तो शिव जी की पूजा करती हैं पति प्राप्त करने के लिए। तो जो बालक निमाई है वो वहाँ जाता है, उनके बीच में बैठ जाता है और पूजा खुद स्वीकार करता है, मेरी पूजा करो, शिव की पूजा मत करो। तो बालिकाएं तो जानती नहीं तत्व को, तो जो है बहुत जो है वो नाराज होती हैं या जो है वो शिकायत करती हैं कि तुम ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हो, तुम हमारे भाई लगते हो, गांव में तुम जो है इस प्रकार की हमारी पूजा में बाधा क्यों डाल रहे हो। और निमाई जो है बोलता है कि देखो अगर जो है मेरी पूजा नहीं करोगी, शिव जी तो मेरे दास हैं, पार्वती तो मेरी दासी हैं, अगर मेरी पूजा नहीं करोगी तो तुमको जो है ऐसा पति मिलेगा जो बूढ़ा होगा और जिसके 8 पुत्र पहले से ही दूसरी पत्नी से हो गए हैं। तो डर के मारे जो है निमाई की पूजा करती थी, तो जो है आशीर्वाद देते कि हाँ तुमको अच्छा पति मिलेगा। तो यहाँ पर निमाई का जो है पति भाव नहीं है। तो इस लीला में जो है और ज़्यादा भगवान चैतन्य जो है स्त्रियों के प्रति सतर्क रहते हैं, और आगे चल कर के तो उनका बहुत मतलब कठोर नियम था कि स्त्रियों से बहुत सतर्क रहना। तो ये जो है इस लीला में कुछ विशेष है। और बाकी जो लीलाएं हैं वो चंचलता की वो उसी तरह की हैं, जैसे कृष्ण की चंचलता की लीलाएं थीं, माता के साथ में जैसे चंचलता करते थे पिता, और जो है बालकों के साथ में चंचलता करते थे, खेला करते थे। तो वो सब जो है चैतन्य की लीलाएं और कृष्ण की लीलाएं एक जैसी हैं, कोई अंतर नहीं है। लेकिन जो माधुर्य लीला है उसमें जो है मतलब विशेष अंतर है। यहाँ पर जो है एक भाई की तरह जो है जो बहनों के साथ में चंचलता करता है, और उस प्रकार की जिसमें कि मर्यादा की पूरी रक्षा होती है, इस प्रकार से ये जो है लीलाएं हैं चैतन्य की। हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you very much, Caitanya-caritāmṛta Prabhu. Because we are starting with a week of Gaur Leela pastimes, starting today, leading up to the Gaura Purnima festival. I thought we should have a lead up to this festival, an introduction to what things are going to happen. So thank you very much, Prabhu, for presenting this. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Sri Chaitanya manobhishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupakada makhyam dadadi swapadantikam vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Gaurachandraya Om Namo Bhagavate Gaurachandraya Om Namo Bhagavate Gaurachandraya Kathanjana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam sya Sri Chaitanyam namamitam. Things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow or the other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. It's very important that we start with this verse because to glorify the Supreme Lord's pastimes is most difficult, especially in its very special form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Adyapi ha shelila kore gora rai kono kono bhagavan deki bare pai. The Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing pastimes right now, right here, everywhere. Definitely in his dham, and this is not different from dham. But kono kono bhagavan deki bare pai. Not everyone will be able to see. Only those who are very fortunate will be able to see these pastimes of the Lord. Before I commence, I want to welcome His Grace Radharaman Prabhu from Iskcon Kolkata and Iskcon Communications. He's here for a very important service for Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So, in Adi Leela, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions right at the beginning, he is quoting the Supreme Lord himself. He says, Angopanga thika astra prabhu rasa hite shei shaba astra haya pashanda dalite. The word pashanda is used specifically. It's very, very significant. Pashanda means one who compares the Supreme Personality of Godhead to other lesser beings. Could be demigods, could be even normal human beings. Or they create their own imaginary God. They're so foolish that they present somebody as a God, Srila Prabhupada mentions. Although Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya are genuinely the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and their pastimes are well outlined, but still they present someone else. So Srila Prabhupada mentions, one who is intelligent and who studies the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with reference to the Vedic context cannot be bewildered by the Pashandis. Pashandis or atheists, they cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the transcendental loving service to God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what was his sannyas name? Who can say? Who did he receive sannyas initiation from? If you have to say so. Who did he receive sannyas from is a question. Keshav Bharati. So what was his name? Yes. Sri Krishna Chaitanya or Sri Krishna Chaitanya Bharati? Huh? Sorry? Why? Why? No, this is too complicated. I'm speaking something very simple. Sri Krishna. The problem with intelligent people is they come up with such wonderful points. We have to accommodate them. Sri Krishna Chaitanya is a name that normally the Mayavadis, like they have a new Bhakta program, they have a Brahmachari program also. So the Brahmacharis keep the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya. The Sannyasis, they assume other names, Bharati and various other names, Saraswati, etc. So he wanted to set the example of service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally wanted to set the example of service, how like Shudras are for the Varnas. Srila Prabhupada mentions in one of his books that Brahmacharis are for the ashramas. Among the ashramas, Brahmacharis are like the feet, the limbs. So to take that humble position, the Supreme Lord, retain just that name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya! Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur mentions, Achaitanyam idam vishwam yadi chaitanyam ishwaram. The word Chaitanya is also supremely significant. Because this whole world would have had no Chaitanya, no life, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not appeared. We all know that he appeared on Gaura Purnima, or what is it, Magha Purnima, Magha Shukla Purnima, 1406 Shakabda, some people say, but we confirm it as 1486 AD. And it is very, very important that right from his appearance, right from that very moment, the Supreme Lord was preaching. Because when the Supreme Lord appeared, it was a Purnima. And obviously when something is full and tasty, people would like to eat it, right? So Rahu also thought, I will eat this moon. But why will I eat this moon? Akalanga Gaura Chandra Dilo Darshana Sakalanga Chandra Nahi Kona Prayojana. This moon is full of blemishes, full of spots. What is the need of this moon? There's no need. So I will eat him. And why? Because the blemishless, spotless moon of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has risen. Therefore, this moon is not required. So he gobbled up, or there is lunar eclipse happened. And when the eclipse happened, it was natural for people to, at least then in India, to take the names of the Lord. Here also we try, when during lunar eclipse, Sadhurdev Prabhu organizes Kirtan in the temple hall many times. Lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. During eclipse. So, His Holiness Radha Goswami Maharaj mentions in the pastime of Ajamila, saying that when he was taking the name Narayana, Narayana, the Supreme Lord was mentioning in Vaikunta that he is taking my name, he is doing Sankirtan, he is performing Sankirtan. And it is mentioned that one should have grahana of the naam, nama grahana adibihi. You should get grahana of the name. We should constantly eclipse all other material usage of the tongue. it should gobble up all the material blemishes, spots, and there should be a holy name. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was establishing that right from childhood. What childhood? Right from birth, from appearance. So everyone would stand in the Ganges and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in various tones, pitches, etc. And various moods also, because the Yavanas who were watching those who were chanting the holy name, they started making fun of them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's like that. No? So we are used to this kind of a thing. You've seen those huge crowds of sometimes school children come to the temple, slightly older children. And as they leave the temple, they'll be singing, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Have you heard this? They're making fun. But it is taking the holy name. Hela Namabas, Stoba Namabas, all those things are there. So, the Supreme Lord was encouraging everybody to chant by His very appearance. And that is why it is said, Avatirne Gaura Chandre Vitirne Prema Sagare. He appeared. I heard Sri Lokanath Swami Maharaj quote this shloka, and it was very, very inspiring. The Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to distribute and inundate the world with love of Godhead. Vitirne Prema Sagare. That is why He appeared. And He was, right from the beginning, inundating the world with love of Krishna. Yuga dharma pravartana haye am sahite ama bina annanare vraja premadite. The Supreme Lord thought in Goloka that my plenary portions, they can establish the principles of religion, Yuga dharma. But only I, nobody else can, however, bestow the kind of loving service performed by the inhabitants of Vraja. What the Vrajavasis, the Vraja Prema, what they have, that can be given only by me. Principles of religion can be established by others also. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya therefore prays, Yuga dharma yutam punarnanda sutam dharani suchitram bhava bhavochitam tanu dhyana chitam nijavasa yutam pranamami shachi suta gauravaram. It's Yuga dharma yutam. He established the Yuga dharma. But who is he? Punarnanda sutam. Is he himself. He re-established Yuga dharma. How? He's Nanda Sutta himself. Dharani suchitram bhava bhavochitam. He inundated the world with wonderful feelings of love for the Supreme Lord. This material world. Bhava bhava uchitam. Tanu dhyana chitam nija vasayutam. And it's very important that we therefore meditate on Him. Therefore, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Pad prays, and we should have this prayer right from today, forever of course, but at least till Gaura Purnima. Anarpita charim chirad karunayat avatirna kalau samarpayatum unnatojvala rasam swabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara dvitikatam basandipita sada hridaya kantare spurata va sachinandana. Pray to the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that He resides in our heart. Hridaya kandare. Kandara means a cave. Cave can be dark. When it's dark, you need something that is luminant, something that is very effulgent. And that's the Supreme Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya. When Chaitanya is there in our heart, there will be no darkness. So therefore, Smita lokas shokam harati jagatam yasya parito giram tu prarambha kushala patalim pallavayati padalamba kamba pranayati nahi prema nivaham sadevas Caitanya-caritāmṛta na kripayatu. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, cause costless mercy upon us. May He grant us costless mercy. Because His smiling glance at once drives away all the bereavements of the material world, all the difficulties, all the kleshas of the material world. Just by the Supreme Lord's Smita loka shokam harati. Shokam harati. It's all done, finished off. And it's mentioned His very words enliven the auspicious creepers of devotional service, by expanding their leaves, like creepers of leaves. So Bhakti Lata, the leaves will increase. How? By his loving words of the Supreme Lord. And taking shelter of his lotus feet invokes transcendental love of God at once. Why? 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 Because he's God. It's very natural. If you meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, it is natural that you have attachment to transcendental loving service, because what else is devotion? Taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And therefore, this verse is very significant because it is connected intricately with the Balya Leela. So, whenever the Supreme Lord as a child, actually the Supreme Lord expanded into the bodies of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, who are non-different from Yashoda Mai and Nand Maharaj. He entered their hearts, and pretty much like the Supreme Lord appearing through Devaki. So when he appeared, naturally his smiling glance, his loving smile was so endearing to his parents and everyone nearby. So that's what we're talking about. Smita loka shokam harati. Nobody would feel unhappy just by looking at his beautiful face. It is mentioned that Sita Thakurani came. Jai Sri Radha Parthsarthi Vishaka ki jai. Srimati Sita Thakurani came to their place with so many wonderful gifts to the Supreme Lord when he appeared. Tiger nails and things like that. Although he is Gaura Simha, he brought tiger nails and all kinds of grains, durba and various other things she brought. Auspicious items. There's such a long description of what are the things she brought in for the Supreme Lord's appearance. And the next day when Jagannath Mishra feast was there, of course, many of us relish the day after Gaura Purnima than Gaura Purnima, because we have to take non-grain prasadam. The fact of the matter is that Jagannath Mishra celebrated wonderfully a feast. And Jai Shri Shri Gauranitai ki, Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman ki. So, his smile was so endearing, it would capture the hearts of everyone. And it is mentioned, his very words enliven the auspicious creepers. What are the very words? Right from childhood, he would cry. The moment the neighbors would say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, or Hari Bol. We can't say Hari Bol. That is for Dhamvasis and Guru and Acharya to say Hari Bol. We should not spread the Hari Bol culture in Iskcon. Then it will become Hari Bol. It's a Hare Krishna movement. In fact, during Srila Prabhupada's time, somebody had started a Hari Bol movement, which was like a deviant sect. Hari Bolo means, like your Dhammas is telling us during Navdeep Mandal Parikrama, you are asking somebody to chant. I remember Srila Bhaktivikas Swami had once, when I was comparing a function, I think some 15 years back probably, a little less than 15 years back. I was comparing some function and I said, we want to welcome His Holiness Bhaktivikas Swami by chanting Hari Bol. So everybody said Hari Bol and very glorious. I was feeling, I welcomed a Vaishnava. He said, Hari Bolo is for the spiritual master to call. He can tell us Hari Bolo. We shouldn't tell us Hari Bolo. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being Supreme Personality of Godhead, can induce others to chant by saying Hari Bolo. How did he induce others to say Hari Bolo itself? By crying. And that itself shows the mood that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to establish. Crying for the Lord. Like Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj said, we are opening these temples to cry for Krishna. The crying centers. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was constantly. This morning I was listening to lecture by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and he's mentioning that Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Hankering and lamentation is the nature of the material world. But as devotees, what should our hankering be for? Our hankering should be that we have not surrendered ourselves to the Supreme Lord. We have not remembered Krishna. We have forgotten Him for so many lifetimes. So many lifetimes we have forgotten the Supreme Lord. So we should lament for that. And what should we hanker for? We should hanker for the fact that every moment we have, we should engage in Krishna's service. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was demonstrating that right from childhood, the very early age. And when Mother Sachi would feed him, breastfeed him, first they would look at the floor of their home and they would see that there's some very auspicious, very, very auspicious symptoms. They would see wonderful footprints of the Lord, with the Supreme Lord's emblems or insignia on the lotus feet. Who can say some of the emblems on the Supreme Lord's lotus feet? One by one. Sorry? How are they different? So then, whichever you know, you say. The reality is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet is a combination of Radha, Krishna, Nahi, and Na. They have insignia or emblem of both the lotus feet. Best of both worlds, they say. Yes, Anandanidhi Prabhu. Thunderbolt, Vajra. Then. Sorry? Upward line, what is that called? Urdhvareka. Flag, Pataka. Conch shell. And then there is grain and there is Ankusha and many other things. Wonderful signs. And when the Lord was walking, suddenly they used to wonder, how did this happen? Thank you, Prabhuji. So this wonder, Jagannath Mishra said, oh, there must be the Saligram Shila must be performing these pastimes. Saligram Shila, who has no lotus feet externally, is performing this pastime. They can believe that. But they can't believe that their own son can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrata. But of course they are not Muda. They are eternal associates of the Lord. Daivihesha Gunamai. Or what is it called? Yogamaya Samavrata. That's what they say. But you can't say that for these eternal associates. They are covered by Yogamaya in a different way so that they can relish the loving pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So Mother Sachi would look at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when she was suckling him, when she was breastfeeding him, and she would see these most auspicious emblems, insignia, signs. So then she called Jagannath Mishra Path and they were completely flabbergasted. And they called for Nilambar Chakravarti, who was Nilambar Chakravarti? Yeah, Nana what? Nana Shastra Vicharane Nipuna. Nana means he was Sachimata's father. So very special. Who is in Vrajlila? Who is he? Okay. By the end of this lecture, somebody should say. Then they will get a special prize. The lecture will get over. That is the prize. So the Supreme Lord would therefore inspire his parents by his lotus feet. From childhood is again reminding them of the lotus feet by showing his own lotus feet. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, Nija bhaktikaram priya charutaram nata nartana nagara rajakulam kula kamini manasa lasyakaram pranamami sachi sudha gauravaram. Nija bhaktikaram, one's own devotion. Nija bhakti gunavrita natyakaram. It is his own devotion that he is trying to show. And therefore, as from childhood, he would play with his friends and he would make the friends chant Hare Krishna or Hari Hari. And then he would make them sing. And what would they say? While they're singing, what would they say? Hari Hari. And then they would dance. He would make them dance. And while dancing, what would they say? Hey, so much enthusiasm. Of course, they were more enthusiastic. Because I think the difference between when the Lord says and when conditioned souls say. So, the Lord was he was imbuing everyone's eyes with the love of Godhead just by his behavior. He was increasing the love in the hearts of his parents, the love in the hearts of his neighbors, now in the hearts of all the other people also. And Prabhuji briefly dwelt upon that pastime where, I'll just say something else. On one occasion, there was a Brahmana who was traveling And this Brahmana came to their house, this traveling Brahmana. He was a very good Brahmana, not Jat Goshai, the proper Brahmana. So he would do everything. He prepared everything. He purified, did all the mudras, everything. He did everything. Got everything ready. And he kept the bhoga before the Lord. He had a Saligram Shila. And he went out. And sure enough, when he came back, he saw little Nimai there. Already gobbling up all the food. He's almost finished it, wiped out. God, all food gone. What will it do? Of course, he didn't do it. This is for some dramatic effect I'm showing. He was more organized and more subtle. Okay, this must be the Lord's plan. Let me prepare again. Now, what will we do if we will go to Govinda snacks? But what did he do? He prepared bhoga again for the Lord to offer. So again he prepared. Again he offered properly. Properly offered. It's not like because of that he said Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu and went out. He waited. He waited and offered bhoga properly. And after he offered bhoga and went out, the bhoga offering was going on. Sure enough, the Supreme Lord came. And he started gobbling up everything. Of course, for him there's no gobbling. Everything is in his stomach. All the universes are in his stomach. He just, what's a little bit of food? So he took that, and again he came. Of course, again dramatic effect. I don't think he did this. But he was completely lamenting. Oh, okay. Then Jagannath Mishra and the whole family, I think Vishwarupa was also there. They locked up little Nimai, so to say. Not like tied him up, but kept him separate. And said, one last time we will get you the samagris, please offer. So he offered again. And sure enough, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Third time again he came. Supreme Lord again accepted the offerings of his dear devotee. Look at the good fortune of the Brahmana. You talk about Ajnata Sukriti. This is Ajnata Shuddha Bhakti. Directly he could perform an activity for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And then he decided, okay, today I will fast. Because the Supreme Lord has decided that I should not honor any prasadam. So glorious Vaishnavas we had, just 500 years back, not very far. And then the Supreme Lord displayed his glorious form. That I am that worshipable Lord that you are worshipping. He showed him his special form. Did he show his Dvibhuja Rupa or Chaturbhuja Rupa? I think he showed Chaturbhuja. Ashtabhuja form. Because there are many numbers. He formed Shatbhuja Gora form to Sarupam Bhattacharya. Then in Mahaprakash Leela there was, what form was it? There is Chaturbhuja. There are 2 Mahaprakash Leelas. So it's so much opulence that you can forget Krishna. And that is why he gave Audarya. You get Aishwarya Prema with Lord Ramachandra. You get Madhurya Prema with Lord Sri Krishna. But you get Audarya Prema with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maryada Purushottama, Leela Purushottama and Prema Purushottama. That's how we can associate. And the Supreme Lord showed his form. And because he was appearing in the Channa Avatara, hidden form, most secret, confidential form, he told the Brahmana that if you reveal this form to anybody, so of course, if those who are really devotees of the Lord, they don't believe in Raat Sham Sapne Mein Aaya. What do they believe? Hey Radhe Vraja Devi Ke Chalalite, Hey Nanda Suno Kuta, Kuta, where are you? They look for the Lord, look for Srimati Radha, look for Gauranga. That is what they do. So, what is mentioned by Sri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is that under various excuses, this is very interesting, under various excuses, the Lord was performing many pastimes, under various excuses, to increase the love of his devotees, especially his parents. And then when he was a child, once Srila Krishna's Kairaj says, Shri Anga Shri Mukha Jai Kore Darshana. Shri Anga is beautiful form. Shri Mukha is beautiful face. Jai Kore Darshana. Whoever has darshan of his beautiful face and his beautiful form. What is mentioned? Tara Papa Khaya Haya Paya Prema Dhana. Tara Papa Khaya. All the sins, Kshaya. Kshaya is Khaya. All gone. Khoya. Lost. And then what? Paya Prema Dhana. The treasure house of love. So anyone who just looks at him. So therefore, when what happened was, the Lord decided that I will now do some philosophical preaching, not just like I was told this morning that no, don't focus so much on philosophy, focus on Leela. So the Lord also decided that enough Leela. Now I will do some philosophy also. So one day while he was enjoying his playful sports with other little children, so Mother Sachi brought a dish filled with fused rice and sweetmeats, shandesh and other things, it's mentioned. Of course, she gave shandesh, he gave sandesh. So she gave the sweetmeats. The word used is sweetmeats, although there was no meat involved. It's a typical usage. Prabhupada used this word because the Westerners could empathize with this. Please remember why Srila Prabhupada brought out Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta first. Look at the urgency which we said, 2 months we want to print. Finished it off in 18 months, entire Caitanya-caritāmṛta printed out. Adilila, Madhilila, Antilila. And people are saying that he did not complete 10th canto. If you passed PhD or got your PhD, would people be bothered whether you are a postgraduate or not? Srimad Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study of devotion. But Srila Prabhupada completed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wonderful pastimes, combining Amrita Pravaha Bhashya and of the previous acharyas. So, the purpose was that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are most confidential. It cannot be understood by anyone. And Srila Prabhupada knows that if he does not present these pastimes, even his disciples or somebody else would not be able to present it so effectively. That is why in the very first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I mentioned this in several Caitanya-caritāmṛta classes when we got an opportunity. What are the some 50 pages in the introduction are devoted to what? Of what? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life and pastimes. So it's very, very essential that we understand. Because Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anna. Or just say Radha Dyutis Radha Bhava Prakriti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Radha Bhava Dyuti. Dyuti is complexion or the radiance and Bhava is the mood. And who? Naomi Krishna Swarupam is that same Krishna who took that form. So, he started eating dirt. All the children were given sweets. But when she came back, he saw that the child was eating sweet meat. Instead of sweet meat, he was eating clay, dirt. Yesterday or day before, I think in the morning during Prasadam time, we were reading the pastime of the Leela where the Supreme Lord displayed the entire universe in his lotus mouth, including Mother Yashoda herself. So it's pretty normal for Krishna to eat dirt. But in that form, he was demonstrating a different purpose. So he was eating dirt. So Mother Sachi came back. She hastily returned and explained, "What is this? What is this?" And then she snatched the dirt from the hands of the Lord. "Why are you eating this? Why are you eating this dirt?" So then the child cried. Nimai cried. And he said, "Why are you angry? You already given me dirt to eat." I mean, it doesn't mean that the sweet was not tasty. That is not what it means, dirt to eat. Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj mentions that many dry philosophers can't talk about God, so they can't relate the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there's something called oil cakes. Oil cakes, it's what after you prepare you grind out the oil, what is left behind. People eat that. People don't eat that, but if you eat that, you will not get any taste. So Radha Maharaj says that he literally tried to eat it just to check before he spoke about how it tastes. And it's totally tasteless. It is so difficult to eat. Like we say about chewing bamboo versus chewing sugarcane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are so wonderful. Here the child is saying, what is my fault? You already given me dirt to eat. Again, you're saying you can't eat it. What's this logic? I mean, this is illogical. Already you've given me dirt. I've eaten. It's earth transformed into form. So now, Mother Sachi says, before Mother Sachi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that fused rice, sweet meats, all other eatables are transformation of dirt, earth. You already given me dirt to eat. What is my fault? What is my fault? I've already been eating dirt. What's my fault if I eat dirt again? Please consider what is the difference between them. And he further says, this body is a transformation of dirt. You say, dust thou art, dust thou become. The Christians have a prayer at the time of death. So dirt, you're already dirt. And everything is a transformation of, similarly, this dirt. Please reflect on this. You are blaming me without consideration. This is a little Nimai speaking. I mean, you got children fighting that why are you allowing me, not allowing me to watch Tom and Jerry, that you can understand. But here the child is saying, why are you blaming me for this? I didn't take so-and-so's pencil. This is not different. This is saying, I'm eating dirt, which is a transformation. Transform from what's wrong? Why are you blaming me? Mother Sachi was completely astonished that this child is speaking Mayavad philosophy. So she replied, who has taught you this philosophical speculation that everything is dirt? How can this justify eating dirt? Who has taught you this speculation? So she says, my dear boy, if we eat earth transformed into grains, our body is nourished. It becomes strong. But if we eat dirt in its crude state, the body becomes diseased instead of nourished, and thus it is destroyed. The water pot is also transformation of dirt. I can bring water very easily in the water pot. Mother Sachi is preaching. I mean, if God can preach, she is God's mother. She's also preaching. But if I poured water, she's saying, just understand, this is very wonderful preaching. She says, once the dirt is transformed into a pot and I carry water in it, that is fine, it can carry the water. But if I pour the same water onto the dirt, then what will happen? It would soak it up. The whole labor would be useless. Shramaya kevalam. Would be useless. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nimai is saying, why did you conceal this self-realization? By not teaching me this practical philosophy right from the beginning, as if he's 40 years old. So what philosophy is she establishing? Achinta Beda Beda. So, such wonderful meditation. I'm not talking about the Leela. I'm talking about the Gayatri meditation. So, we talked about two pastimes related to prasadam. One was about eating the dirt, the other was about the Brahmana. Now let's talk about another pastime about prasadam. On an Ekadashi, this pastime you know several times. Hiranya Majumdar and Jagdish Pandit and Hiranya Pandit. In their house, they were making wonderful offerings to their house. They were making grain prasadam, cooking grain prasadam for the Supreme Lord. But little Nimai knew that on Ekadashi this was being offered. And he pretended that he was very sick. So he started crying. The little Nimai started crying, pretending to be sick. So when he pretended to be sick, they said, what could be done? So he said, I want prasadam from the house of Hiranya Pandit and Jagadish Pandit. How did he know that they are offering grain? Of course, because at that age, even if Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata were to think that our child should not eat grains, there's no logic. At that age, sometimes parents feed grains to the child. Of course, the principle is that if somebody can observe Ekadashi right from the beginning, this is great. Any child can. But the Supreme Lord is different. He demonstrated right from the beginning about his glories. Now, this sometimes I think that Mahaprabhu is so cruel, although he's out there. Yeah. He performs all these pastimes that are so wonderful. And then if somebody calls him God, he says, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. I will do everything that is divyam, janma karma chame divyam. But you can't call me God. As opposed to the material civilization where everybody performs some little leelas. What leelas? Little siddhis they demonstrate. Getting some gold chain or something else. Some laddu manifest. Or some bhasma. And they expect to be called God. There's one such Mayavadi. He was asked that if you are God, then please show us your universal form. So he said, I'm already showing, you don't have the eyes to see it. And Prabhupada, somebody came to Prabhupada and said that we are both one. He said, yeah, but I disagree with you. That means we are different. And that is the philosophy, one and different. That is being shown. More about food. Once, Sachimata was playing with Mother Sachi. And with his little soft palms, he hit her. Like kids hit. Sometimes kids get excited. Just start hitting like this. So he hit, of course. It cannot be so much in Tamogun. He hit. And Mother Sachi pretended to faint. She really fainted. And when she fainted, so everybody said, you get some coconut water. Only then will she be okay. And before they knew it, suddenly Nimai went out, came back with 2 coconuts. How is that possible? Because he's God. No, don't blame us if we call you God. It's wonderful pastimes. And as a child, once he was playing in the courtyard, all of a sudden, a snake came. A coiled, huge, venomous serpent. A snake came and it coiled up there. And little Nimai, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, lay on that serpent. Now many acharyas say that it is Sriman Nityanand Prabhu himself who was already in Ekachakra. And he was not supposed to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu till the Sankirtan Lila had manifested. How can he hold back his separation from his lovable Lord, his dearmost Lord? So he's Sankarshana Karana Toyashayi Garbodha Shayi Chapayobdi Shayi Sheshasya Syam Sakalasa Nityananda Ramakyam Sharanam Mamastu. It's the same Nityananda, Sankarshana, Shesha. He came and just to humor him, just to make him happy, the Supreme Lord lay on the serpent. Immediately they came and Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra got worried. They started shouting, there's a serpent, what will happen to Nimai? They got scared, there was so much anxiety. Srila Prabhupada says, Mother Yashoda could become mother of Krishna because she purchased anxiety for Krishna. Everybody loves their children? Everybody loves their children? I'm not you guys. Your parents must have loved you as children, right? Pitambar, you love your son? Incidentally, your son's name is Gauranga, so that's fine. So, everybody loves their children. But the love that we have for our children is nothing compared to the love and anxiety and the feelings of separation that is relished by Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra. And the separation that is felt by Sri Nityanand Prabhu from his loving Lord Gauranga, that he had to come in the form of the serpent. And of course, because he is Adi Guru, he does not want to put disciples of the Lord in difficulty. So when everybody was getting anxious, the snake crawled away. On another occasion, the Supreme Lord was playing, and a couple of thieves, they saw his wonderfully decorated form. They wanted to take those ornaments. So they took the child and went. He is Vishwambhara. Brhana Dhatu, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj says, Brhana means Bringa Dhatu. Bringa Dhatu means that which nourishes the universe. Naturally, the thieves wanted some nourishment in the form of wealth. And they lifted the bearer of the universe himself, Vishwambhara. And reminds me, I shouldn't be saying this, this pastime almost reminded me of the olden days auto rickshaw drivers in Delhi. You would say, standing outside Sant Nagar, you say, I want to go to Iskcon temple. They say, 100 rupees. Then they'll take you all around Lajpat Nagar, Bhogal, everywhere, and come back to the same place, saying, this is the temple. The Supreme Lord did something similar. They took him, they wanted to take away, they gave him some sweets and offered that and wanted to take the ornaments. So it took him round and round and round. They say in Hindi, kya chakkar hai? So it was literally chakkar. Nityanand Prabhu also has a very similar pastime later. We can hear that the thieves fall into a ditch and they get blinded and so on and so forth. Mahaprabhu is not so strict with these thieves. So he was making them go round and round and round. So if we want to take property of the Lord from the Lord without the Lord, you want Krishna's energy without Krishna, then we are bewildered. You can get everything. The Lord is right now with you on your shoulder, but you want the ornaments that he's wearing? So now what is left? Neither the Lord is left nor the ornaments are left. Because they got confused. They came there, same place, they got worried. This child must be a special personality. They left the child and ran away. So we can just imagine how the Supreme Lord had such wonderful pastimes. Of course, later on he went and learnt all the Vedic scriptures before his Pauganda Leela. He studied Nyaya and Vyakarana, Sankhya, everything from Jagannath Mishra's library. Even the Gangadas Pandit's Tola. His friend Mukunda and many other friends would run away because he was so good at grammar that he would confuse people with that grammar. He would say something and make them counter it. Then he would say the same thing against to counter the counter. So, these pastimes are totally bewildering. That is why we say, Adhyapiha Shelila Kore Gorarai Kona Kona Bhagavan Dekiba Repai. Only very, very fortunate people can understand these pastimes of the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And to conclude, His Grace Jidamendra Prabhu had mentioned about how the Supreme Lord would bewilder the girls who are sitting there. They say, and he would eat up all the eatables that they give. Again, eatables. Now we understand how this movement is so much based on prasadam. If you read Chaitanya Leela, you will see that many times you will think it is a long running menu card. They will mention all these eatables. They will say so much water was kept, so much was there, this was there was leaves spread. So devotees honored prasadam, and after honoring prasadam, they washed their hands, rinsed their mouth and washed their feet. Again, etiquette. So it is a Vaishnava etiquette manual as well as a prasadam manual. Her Grace Yamuna Mataji mentions that if one honors, I mentioned this before also, one honors a single grain of prasadam with the right consciousness that this is Krishna prasadam, then one is already part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eternal Sankirtan movement. So next time we honor prasadam, we should be trying to meditate on this. The Supreme Lord demonstrated through his beautiful form, Sa Anga Upanga Astra Parshadam. In previous incarnations as Lord Ramachandra, he used bows and arrows. And as Krishna, he sometimes had to take up weapons, including bows and arrows and also Sudarshana Chakra. Sometimes just his hand, he would just smash people. But then some people say, because of the request of Mother Sita from the beginning, that you too much weapons, too much violence. So the Lord appeared as Gauranga Mahaprabhu in this incarnation, because in previous incarnation demons would be in Satya Yuga, demons were in different planets. In Dwapara Yuga, they were in different regions of the same planet, like Ram and Ravana, separate places. In Dwapara Yuga, they were in the same family, Pandavas and Kauravas. But in Kali Yuga, they are within the same body of a human person, of a human. So how can one kill the demoniac? We can only kill the demoniac mentality. Oh, we want to welcome Akshay Ramachandra Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji is heading the finance function in Sridham Mayapur and is also part of Iskcon legal team. So, what were we saying? So that's what the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does. Brajendra Nandan Jai Sachichuta Hoila Sai Balram Hoila Nitai Dino Hino Jata Chila Harina May Uddharila Tarashaki Jagai Madhai. To kill the Jagai and Madhai inside us. The mentality of Jagai Madhai inside us. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, I am worse than Jagai Madhai. So this is different. So, on that note, let us conclude the discussion today that the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are still eternally going on and only very few fortunate people can see. It's Kono Kono Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan is Srila Prabhupada. And because Srila Prabhupada is so Bhagavan, what he did was that he went and preached Gauravani. So that today in every town and village, people are talking about Prithivite Yache Jata Nagaradigram Sarvatra Prachar Hoy Hoibe Moranam. Moranam meaning what? Moranam is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name. It's Moranam is Gauranam. Okay, I don't have the throat, but if somebody can put in all your energies and shout Gauranga once. Everyone. 1, 2, 3. Gauranga! Nityananda. We can have discussions offline. Time is up. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. And only patient hearing can save us from becoming patient. Becoming a patient. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Radha Parthasarthi Gaunita Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Gaura Purnima Mahamotsav ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Pad ki jai.